I know this one cop who is a customer. He comes in to buy some water once in a while. He used to come in more often, like around the winter time, but then he disappeared for a little while. And I was a little worried about him because sometimes when our customers disappear, they re-emerge, but posthumously. We may find out about them through someone finding an obituary or someone who happen to know them comes in and they comment that they're gone, something like that. Basically, it's never good news. I was worried that this particular cop might have had something happen to him. But anyway, he reemerged after some weeks, maybe some months. What's funny about that is that when he reappeared, I happened to have thought about him and how it had been a while since I'd seen him. And I was like genuinely, legitimately excited. I was like, hey, so good to see you. I noticed that you were gone. Blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, yeah, I had to work somewhere else and it's nice to be back. And then he came in another time and I was like, hey, good to see you again, this and that. I was like, I'm so glad to see that you're doing okay because I may sound like I'm being dramatic, but trust me, in recent times, we have had news of how some of our customers, who we have known for forever pretty much, they have been disappearing. Some of them it's due to illness, some of them is due to them being up there in age. And it's always sad, especially when they're good ones, that they stand out in your day because they are pleasant to be around pretty much. Well, the last time I saw this cop, one of my coworkers also talked to him. She was like, I feel like crime has gone up recently. And he said, yeah, it's typical. It happens every time it gets hot outside. My boyfriend had made a similar commentary about that for years now. But to hear a cop saying that, it like reinforces it much more because I've been aware, but it's one of those things that because I'm not exactly out there looking for this information or really being out there in general, I don't really run into incidents unless I happen to be incidentally driving by. Say I have to take the highway for some reason, or maybe I happen to leave home or come back home from work at just the right time to where I may see something. And I can say that in recent times, I've been noticing more and more in my path, there's been stuff happening. Well, I was also thinking about how in my immediate surroundings there has been some shit happening within the past 7 days. There was someone who got taken out, and there have been reports by the police where someone discharged their little projectile toys. And I keep thinking to myself that I don't know what leads to those events, but it doesn't seem like there's someone out here just mindlessly deploying their little projectile toys. It's just they happen to know each other and they may have some, I guess you could call that beef with each other, and it just escalates and then shit happens. It's still bothersome though because that makes the environment dangerous. And I don't know if all of you have made it to my video where I was saying that I don't understand non-compliance. That, in a sense, made me think about my environment a little deeper and the little things that I can observe that I could attach to that. And it's got to do with how some people really do not know how to respect their homes, and by extension respect the immediate area. It doesn't have to be just the inside of the four walls in which you reside, but let it be the outside, your own vehicle, and perhaps how you behave when you're on the road. So I thought that I would just ramble about those little things that make me feel like it contributes to the degradation of our surroundings, and how everything has an effect on your environment, whether you're thinking it does or it doesn't. And I'm pretty much going to take the same points that I made in my non-compliance video. But in order to best express how this is a big deal and how I think it's all connected, I thought that I would create a video in which I describe the things that I see that, at least to me, as a citizen and as a resident of this area, you could say it lowers my morale. In the same manner that you go to your job and you see shit that you can say, damn, that causes my morale to go down. Well, my resident morale, what makes it go down? As I was thinking about those items, I noticed that it sounds a whole lot like the questions I was asking about how I don't understand non-compliance. One thing that I can say is, do people enjoy things being in order? For instance, sometimes I will pull up to my driveway. We have assigned parking spots, and I will see a clown occupying my spot, and that pisses me off. I am paying for it. I'm the one who lives here. I'm entitled to that. I shouldn't have to leave my vehicle in a spot it doesn't belong in, inconveniencing me as a resident because someone else who's visiting someone else is not mindful, or maybe the person who is hosting their presence is not doing their job at supervising their guest do the right thing. If you live here and you know that we have assigned spots and you know that these apartments are occupied, why wouldn't you be responsible and wait for your guest, supervise them, and be like, hey, I observed that you parked right here, just so you know. We have neighbors. That's not where you're supposed to park. You're supposed to park over there. It's a few steps away, but over there. Do your part. Be responsible. Ensure order. And on top of that, another thing that pisses me off is how people treat the dumpster. People don't like to throw things into the dumpster with force. Some people, maybe you're legit too weak to make it to the dumpster. Like you have a bag of trash that's too heavy for you to lift and thrust it into the dumpster. But don't just toss things into the dumpster to where the front of it becomes blocked, and that's where the door is to the dumpster. The little window is to the dumpster. It causes the trash to accumulate on the front, and it pretty much becomes inaccessible, but there's still plenty of space in the back. Fill the back of the dumpster first, and then make your way forward, because sometimes the dumpster is just artificially full. It's not even supposed to be full, but it is, because people are not strategically placing their trash there. They're like, I'm just taking trash and dumping it in there. I don't care how it lands. It's in there. It's away from me. It's not my problem anymore. That lack of attention to detail contributes to the environment looking like hell, because sometimes the dumpster gets so full, so packed superficially, because that trash is not efficiently distributed within it, that by the time the truck comes, there's trash lining up on the side of the dumpster, and I happen to be on a spot that's like right there next to the dumpster. So of course I will feel the consequences, and I will especially feel it when I'm trying to pull into my parking spot, because the contents of some of those trash bags have been spilling over, and it can damage my vehicle or my boyfriend's vehicle. Another thing would be, this is dog land and I love dogs. I think they're amazing, but some owners do not take pride in picking up after them. And now that it's hot and humid, sometimes the smell of dog excrement is just out there in the air, and that's like the first thing that hits you as soon as you step out. What is it about you having stations that maintenance keeps full of bags for you to pick up after your dog, and they have the sign of please pick up after your dog? Do you not understand? What about that is so burdensome to you? If you can have the animal, you have to look after the animal. And those are the little things that really irritate the crap out of me. And it makes me wonder, what is it about these people not wanting to comply with helping maintain the environment they don't understand? And another thing would be consistency. Like if you are consistently picking up your trash, picking up after your dog, picking up after your guests, and especially directing them in the proper direction of where they need to park and how they must behave here. Like, don't do anything crazy. Don't be lighting up fires that you're not supposed to be lighting up according to limitations that we have here as residents, all that shit. You have to be responsible for these adults as if they're children. And I know that we have an attitude in this country of, you can't tell me what to do, but it's evident that some people do need to be told what to do. And you, as the resident of this place, bringing guests over, you are responsible for them. So why wouldn't you take your standing, your position in the community seriously? And if this person is problematic to where they cannot respect that you have rules to uphold and thinks that you're limited by as a resident of this place, maybe reconsider your relationship with these people. Maybe reconsider where you meet up with these people. Don't bring them here. Also, structure. I don't understand how some people sometimes have no structure to what they're doing and it goes back to the trash. Like, I'll see people who move out or move in and they will fill up the dumpster or fill the surrounding area of the dumpster with furniture, and it pretty much becomes impossible to navigate. And there is no reason for that, considering that we have a giant dumpster. This is the granddaddy of dumpsters. It's one of those really long, rectangular looking ones as opposed to the more compact, square, taller ones. I mean, this one could house trash maybe for like an entire 4 months or so, an entire season could make it into this dumpster. The problem is that it's situated a little farther away from where our building is. Is it a drive away? Sure. If you can't haul it in a vehicle, do you have to walk far away with it? Yes, but I mean, do whatever you have to do in the name of upholding the integrity of the environment. You must have structure for this. But people just leaving stuff behind without zero regard for how this may impact others, it just irks me. And another thing that makes it difficult to cope with is that this impacts your wellness. This will lead to things like pests having more hiding spots. They are able to thrive even more. And again, because of my proximity to this section, I have to be enslaved all day to cleaning the house and spraying my pest control stuff, because if I don't, I could be kidnapped by these pests and they like to party with me and all that. And I also have a cat that may get a little overwhelmed by some of that. I'm not sure if it's the pesticide that I'm spraying doing the work, or the pesticide that maintenance occasionally sprays doing the job, or if it's my cat doing some hunting. It's just irritating to have that mess happening when it shouldn't have to. It doesn't have to. In addition, that is part of my rent, but I guarantee you that, especially when it gets super rainy out there, like we had weeks of nothing but rain, if the rain is washing away the pesticide, that pest control is a fee that I'm paying in my rent. Yet I don't get to enjoy the benefit of it because environmentally, there are factors present that diminish the likelihood of that thing working to neutralize these bugs efficiently. We have to support each other with our wellness, but sometimes I feel like that doesn't seem to be a priority for people. It doesn't seem to be something that you either were not raised with, you were not raised with some kind of discipline at how to respect your environment and why you need to respect it. I feel sometimes like maybe rent be going up. Not because materials are getting more expensive, not because of inflation, or not because of, say, the quality of the place getting better. Like, say, my apartment is getting older, but somehow they're trying to make it seem like it's getting better. Maybe they want to price out people who don't respect the environment, and maybe people who have respect for the environment usually are people with a little bit of extra money. Higher income people are more likely to, I guess, keep their areas cleaner. And that will make people like me, who I'm not exactly middle class or anything, but people like me who are disciplined and I do care about my environment and I take care of my area, my place, and my vehicle, and I also mind the tone of my voice and all that shit, I have to pay the price, and my life gets harder because of the decisions of others. And that is what makes it seem like there is no sense of fucking community here. That is the kind of community I want to see. I want to see the clean one, the orderly one, the one where you feel proud and happy to come back to this place. But sometimes I feel like, as a business tactic, in order to protect the reputation of this area, the price has to go up in an effort to maybe weed out the troublemakers. But I don't think it's fair that just because I'm low income, I have to pay the consequences of someone who doesn't have behavioral issues. I will pay like someone who does have those behavioral issues, because now rent has to go up because we need to have more money to repair those things. We need to have more money to deploy more maintenance crew or more cleaning crew or more landscaping crew to make sure that the area stays neat and put together. Overall, in general, I just don't understand why people do not enjoy organization. Organization promotes a place into thriving. But sometimes, again, I just feel like this kind of behavior that is just wild and unchecked, it doesn't stem from organization. Because if it did, if these people were organized, these would not be problems that I'm crying about right now. And ultimately, when it comes to this behavior about not caring for your surroundings and relying on the convenience of, you don't have to do yard work or all those little tiny things, and you can just call maintenance for any issues here. Sometimes I feel like some of the people who live here may be living here because they're being supported, and you're not exactly depending on work to get this. And that's pretty upsetting, because I have to work for this stuff and my boyfriend has to work for this stuff, but yet the harder we work, it doesn't necessarily translate into the quality of our lives improving, because again, our surroundings, our environment, which is what's financially viable for us at this moment, it's not supporting us in that manner. And that's just irritating. I should be able to spend a whole day here and be like, you know what? I have nothing to complain about. I have nothing to be worried about, nothing to be upset about. There are no clowns, no buffoons out here. Everybody has a similar mindset to mine, which is you respect the outdoors, you respect the building, you respect your vehicle placement, and all that stuff. Just what is so brave about being non compliant? What is so brave, so empowering about living in a mess? A mess that you're causing, that you're not aiding the cause. Does it not bother you? Did you grow up in a mess and therefore a mess is all you know? And when you see order, it like challenges the perception that you're accustomed to, and you just don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to look at things on the other side of that. I don't know. And I express this not to be judgmental. It's just that, again, I'm struggling, and I find that some of the struggles are just absolutely unnecessary. And all it takes is a little shift in attitude, just a little bit of mindfulness, and just a little bit of tweaking in some of your daily habits. And this place could turn around and be awesome. And maybe we wouldn't have to be sitting out here feeling like this is the bad side of town. This isn't even supposed to be the bad side of town. But then when rent goes up and we have all this crime going on and all that stuff, doesn't that make you wonder that maybe there isn't like some nefarious agenda, something sinister going on in the background, and maybe it's your behavior that's causing certain investments to take place, and they will make your life challenging because you're not exactly financially prepared for those changes? That's what I'm saying. And I don't think that I should be punished when I'm not a part of that. I just happen to be in this area because that is as far as my resources can take me without unnecessarily and dangerously exploiting myself, risking my salubrity. I don't think that's fair. But anyways, you guys, like I said, I just wanted to kind of attach this to that topic because I feel like they're interlaced if you know how to make the connection. And I just wanted to express it and see if you guys could see where I was coming from. And share your experiences if you have any. Okay, that's it. Bye.